Hello, I'm John from Edutech Creative, where we're looking at you getting innovated with your solutions as a teacher and integrating technology into your practice. So today we're going to look at a feature called NotebookLM. It's a free tool right now being offered by through Google using the Google Gemini AI system. And so basically what it is, it's a platform or a tool that allows you to upload content and it can generate it can help you kind of understand that content. And one of the key features that people seem to really enjoy is the podcast feature. So today I'm going to kind of show you how to put some content in there and then generate the AI podcast feature. What is the use for this? Well, potentially what you could do is you could have this in your classroom. Let's say you got several different resources that you want the students to kind of look over and understand. Why not make a podcast from that information, that content that the students could then play on their own using, headphones outside of class? You could use a flipped classroom model, or maybe you play it live in class and have students kind of interact with that conversation in a way that you wish. What's really interesting about this idea is and we'll see this in a moment, not only is the AI conversation generated very good because you forget that it's AI kind of speaking in this two-way conversation, but it might be a great way to frame kind of controversial subjects. So if you're in the social sciences or history classes, or any class for that matter, that has a subject that's pretty controversial and complex, and you don't want to necessarily be the voice speaking about that content, you can outsource it to AI. So just some thoughts about how to kind of apply this tool in your classroom and really help you. But one of the main things we focus on at Edutech Creative is finding resources that'll help streamline your practice as a teacher, make your job more efficient, make your classroom instruction more effective and exciting for students. So if you have any ideas, definitely share them with us and we'll take a look. But let's get on with the content here. So here's our first notebook. So you're gonna go to notebook.lm, just Google search that, and if you have a Chrome profile, it's always great. You just kind of do from that work profile, your school profile. So that way, when you integrate with your Gmail, for example, that's your work email, it'll basically connect with that profile. So that's a very good, I think, pro tip to use. If you use for personal use, you can use your personal email, etc. But it's free for Gmail. So once you get past all that kind of confirmation pages, etc., you're going to land here, and it says create your first notebook. It gives you a breakdown. You can upload documents. So, for example, a PDF or maybe a Google Doc or a Microsoft Word doc or anything that you have that's content, you can upload that to basically feed to the AI system as a knowledge base. You can convert complex material, right? So basically it's telling you that you can, once you upload this content as a knowledge base for the AI, you can now query with it and get different kind of outputs from it. So for example, you put a bunch of stuff in there that you think the students need to know, and then you create an FAQ. And so now you can share that with your students. For this video, we're just going to kind of keep it simple and show you how to create the podcast, but just giving you a sense that you can upload to Notebook different content to create a knowledge base, and you can generate output from it. And the podcast is just one type of output, right? Okay, so let's start by, I started Googling something I know nothing about, bioethics. All right. So I go through and I Google understanding bioethics. Hopefully you understand it enough to where you can teach it. And if you are, great, you can kind of find what source materials. So I just did a quick search, and let's say I got a website here, right? Britannica, encyclopedia entries. I got videos. I've got what is bioethics from John Hopkins, and there's lots of other things here. So for the sake of this example, let's just go with John Hopkins. Let's see here. It's probably a reliable source. So I've got this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the URL here. All right. I'm going to go back to this and we're going to hit create. And now it's going to tell you to upload sources, right? It's going to give you different options on this screen. So you can upload sources, meaning PDFs, files, etc., right? It tells you that. Yeah, even audio files. Maybe you have a podcast that you really enjoy, you can use that. You can also import stuff from your Google Drive. So if it's connected to your school account, you can take those documents and just drop them in here. You can use links, obviously, websites, YouTube. They love to push YouTube. It's part of the Google suite of software. But you can drop links in there, and then you can copy and paste text. We're going to use a website for now. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that URL that we got earlier from John Hopkins, and I'm going to click insert. And now what it's going to do is it's going to take you to a page. It's going to tell you, a lot of different things here. All right. And I suggest that you kind of go into this a little more detail when you're doing this on the own. But here's some of the outputs it can create. So from this source, it can create an FAQ. So maybe you want to break that website down into an FAQ, or frequently asked questions, for your students to more easily kind of consume that information. And remember, you don't just use one website. You can pull from multiple sources. So you can pull multiple websites in here. But for the sake of this demonstration, we're doing this live. I'm just going to drop in this one website. You can also create a study guide from this. You can create a table of contents, right? A timeline, briefing. So whatever outputs you think are most appropriate for your students, that's what you can do there. But for our purposes, like I said, we're going to create a podcast and we're going to demo that. So we've got our source material, our knowledge base in there, and that's what's over here on this left-hand panel. You're going to see the different sources for this particular project, let's say. And if I have multiple websites, it'd be kind of listed here, and I can check them all off, which ones I wanted to include, which ones I didn't want to include in the output. Up here is your title. So the notebook, let's say, is your kind of your project. So let's just say, what is bioethics? All right. So that's what this project or notebook is going to be based on. You can title this whatever you want, but just for the purpose of this video, just to show you how that works. Now, over here, it says audio overview, right? Deep dive conversation, 2 hosts, English only. You can customize that, but I don't want to get into all the bells and whistles of this particular tool right now. What I want to do is kind of show you bare bones how you can use this as a teacher. You got source material, you drop it in NotebookLM, and now you just want to create a podcast for your class, which is going to be very impressive. You click on generate. And it's going to take some time, because the AI is basically what it's doing is taking the website, it's going through and looking at the source material, be it the website you're sharing or a video. It's going to look for the language itself. It's going to scan it. It's going to generate its own transcript, and then it's going to feed that into its AI system to generate a conversation. So I'll pause the video and catch back up with you when this is. So we're going to go ahead and play on our bioethics podcast that was generated from my NotebookLM's AI system. As I noted before, it's going to be a conversational kind of approach. Now, I haven't hit play yet, but a couple of things to note is that the title here is What is Bioethics, which is probably pulling from your title here that you created for your project. And then it gives you a timestamp. It's 7 minutes and 41 seconds. So you obviously want to take note of that if you're trying to put this in a classroom and play it live. But anyway, let's take a look at what it was generated from this one source from Johns Hopkins.
Ever feel like you need a whole other degree to understand the latest stuff about new medicine and technology and all that?
Yeah.
It feels very complex.
It's a lot, yeah.
We're diving into the world of bioethics today.
Yeah. Which is really all about, right? Like trying to navigate these incredible possibilities, BUT, with these really, really tough questions. They come with things like, gene editing and artificial intelligence, all these new ways to treat diseases.
So as you can tell, it's a very natural conversation. So you can take a complex subject, break it down, make it much more, approachable for your students. Now, it's not perfect, obviously, so you probably want to sample this ahead of time before you just hit live, play it live in your class. But it's a great tool. It's a great to pull in lots of complicated information and distill it down to a natural conversation and really get your students hit the ground running. So let us know what you think. Go ahead and leave a comment down below and tell us how you're actually using this in your class, what projects or ideas you might have for how to apply a tool like NotebookLM in your class. And we look forward to hearing your comments and seeing you in the next video with Edutech Creative.